One of the very best parts of video games is the touching and emotional stories they offer us. The tragic and climactic moments from these stories even transcend the world of gaming and become cornerstones of popular culture, such as Aerith's death in Final Fantasy VII. I often think of these stories in my darker times, as they provide an odd sense of comfort when I'm at my lowest. Today, I want to honor some of the more obscure or less talked about scenarios in video games that tug at the heartstrings. Very huge spoiler alert for every game involved. Please check the description for each game's timestamps. I'll leave the details out of the description and simply put the titles in case you want to jump around the games you haven't played. OMORI is an amazing RPG indie game with a charming art style, banger soundtrack, and compelling story. Despite some of the controversies surrounding the game, it's super special to me and near and dear to my heart. OMORI is an emotional story, with the ending culminating in a heartfelt duet between main character Sunny and his deceased older sister. One event that can be easily overlooked, however, occurs in the real world in Faraway Town. Throughout the game in the dream world, OMORI and friends find sanctuary at Mari's Picnics, where she provides snacks made with love at a picnic that can heal you and save the game. Do you want to have a picnic with your friends? If, on one day left, Sunny and friends visit the graveyard behind the church, they can place flowers at Mari's grave. Interacting with the flowers afterward asks, "Do you want to have a picnic with Mari?" The mournful callback to the Dreamworld dialogue brings tears to my eyes every time. Choosing yes will have the friends picnic together with Mari at her grave, while a melancholic, slowed-down version of By Your Side plays. So this one might seem a little silly to probably most of you, but maybe my fellow sensitive girlies will get me. In Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, part of the quest to recruit Bobbery is to deliver a letter from his late wife before she passed. I quite literally cry every single damn time this part comes in the game. I can't wait to see it in the remake in just a couple months. My love, if you are reading this letter, then I am no longer by your side. Because fate has stepped between us, I have decided to write you this letter. If you're reading this, I must have passed away while you were out to sea. I can only assume that you will blame yourself for it, my sweet Bobbery. Although my life was short, you gave me more than a lifetime's worth of joy. Though you will mourn, I beg that you remember that time, like love, is a tide. You are one with the sea, as you are one with me. Do not lose both your life's loves. It has been a while since I played the Mass Effect games, and I admittedly did not finish Mass Effect 3. One of the game's conflicts involves Mordin Solus, a Solarian scientist instrumental in creating the genophage, a plague used to control the population of the Krogan race. You know, textbook eugenics. In Mass Effect 3, Mordin can sacrifice himself to cure the genophage. It's an incredibly moving moment of redemption, and one Mordin ultimately accepts with pride.
My project, my work, my cure. My responsibility.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. Dispersal commencing. Within a science studies range from urban to agrarian, I am delivering my love.
Disco Elysium is, in my humble opinion, one of the best pieces of writing of all time from any medium. It even starts with one of the most overused tropes in gaming, protagonist with amnesia, and makes it work beautifully. Solving the murder case is only a fraction of what Disco Elysium is really about. This is a story of the human condition. An easily missed side quest involves the accidental death of Victor Mijan, who slipped and hit his head while heavily intoxicated. Harry and Kim are tasked with notifying his wife, whom you have the chance to befriend before this, of his death. During a lot of the game, Harry's attributes often interject with humorous quips, but they all read the room in this situation and dial it back. When asking Kim for advice,
Dad, just don't say that you know how they feel. You don't.
Good advice.
good advice indeed. Telling Billy Mijan that her husband is dead is nothing short of heart-wrenching. It's better to let it speak for itself.
No small talk. This isn't the time or place. You've done this before. Just keep your focus. Yes, that's the most important thing. Use that word.
What did you say?
great and terrible spike. The blood freezes in her veins.
Oh. Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here, alive.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, man.
What happened to him? Was he drunk? I see. And you just found him there, lying in the cold. How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe, it will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress.
I'm still... Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
These are her last reserves of strength. Her muscles will give in soon. Already, she starts to shake.
But he was just here, alive, is a quote that will stick with me forever. Hollow Knight is arguably a paragon of indie Metroidvanias. Behind it is a surprisingly emotional story about a misled, selfish deity forcing the ultimate sacrifice upon someone who never asked for any of it. I still find it heartbreaking that the only thing that kept Hollow Knight from being the perfect vessel as his father, the Pale King, intended was the knight's love for his father. No cost too great, no mind to think, no will to break, no voice to cry suffering. At the end of the Path of Pain, players can see a short scene where a young Hollow Knight looks up at his father. This gaze says everything. Celeste gained critical acclaim as an indie platformer for its amazing level design, crisp controls, thoughtful accessibility, incredible soundtrack, and touching narrative. Farewell is the 9th and final chapter of the game, released in September 2019 as free DLC for the game. Granny, who guided protagonist Madeline on her journey throughout the main story and became a close friend, has died. Throughout Farewell, Madeline chases the blue bird, feeling as though Granny is trying to deliver her a message. This chapter is the longest and most difficult, but the reward is worth it. Farewell is a moving journey of grief and loss, as well as the beauty of keeping our loved ones alive through our fond memories of them. Hey there, kiddo. It's so great to see you. I didn't know what to do without you. But you aren't real. This is just a dream. So what? That didn't stop you from coming all this way. You finally found me, and now you care that it's just a dream? Quit making excuses and say what you need to say. I'm sorry that I didn't come to your funeral. I couldn't do it. I just shut down. That sounds familiar. Hey, what do I care who showed up to that thing? I'm dead! Funerals for all you suckers stuck living without me. Thank you for looking out for me on the mountain. You helped me so much, and I really miss you. What am I supposed to do now? Just keep going, like nothing happened? Like you aren't gone forever? At least for me, there's nothing as cathartic as a good cry. For those of you who feel the same, I hope you'll give some of these games a try if you haven't played before, even if you may have accidentally spoiled yourself. Sorrow is just as important as joy in this life, and we should always give it the space it deserves. Thanks for sticking around for the video, and bye for now!